So I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean,
Superman, thank God.
And I enjoyed it. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but man, you just can't take the Guardians out of the gun. I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, and we used to joke about how everything tasted the same. Or not the same, but similar. Like there was this Dunkin' Donut element on the periodic table, and that element was in the coffee, the muffins, the donuts, the croissants, the Danish.
The vanilla nut taps.
What?
The vanilla nut taps.
You couldn't scrub it off your fingers at the end of work. One of my coworkers said it was the coffee that was infusing everything with a similar taste, but it seemed like something else. Just couldn't put my finger on it. Anyway, even though this is Superman, it's got that Guardians feel.
Yes, even rich Corinthian leather.
Like the quippy dialogue.
Hey, quit messing around.
A lot of it sounds like it's leftover lines for Star-Lord.
I'm not messing around, I'm doing important stuff.
And the endless squads. Squad at the Daily Planet. Squad of robots at the Fortress of Solitude. There's a squad of supervillains. Lex Luthor's got a squad. And even Superman's got a squad. Dutch Boy, Mr. T, and the Mighty Hen. My goodness, it's an entire league of squads. When's the season start?
All right, play ball.
Thank goodness Ma and Pa Kent was just a duo. I think we all needed a breather from the squads when we got to the farm. This movie is kind of like you're moving to a new home, and instead of doing the sensible thing and renting a U-Haul, you stuff everything into your Toyota. You're gonna get there, but it ain't gonna be pretty. And you may have blown your suspension. The cast all around is really good. David Cronenswet is Superman. He's a very good Superman. I got no qualms with him. Nicholas Hoult is a really good actor. We've seen him do a lot of different things and varied roles over the years, and he imbues Lex Luthor with a cold-blooded mania and a singular drive. But there's not much else for Hoult to grab onto in the script, or direction. Looking at the Donner Superman, I'm not saying Gene Hackman's performance is the end-all be-all.
You sweet thing.
But you can see what's possible with the character of Lex Luthor. Mad genius with a diabolical plan, but also with some dimension of personality, not simply ego and rage.
You tell me that I'm brilliant? Charismatic. Fiendishly gifted.
And Cornsweat is a very good Superman. He nails it. The problem is in the tone, some of which is the direction, and some of which is in the script. Now, some of this tone probably works for a lot of people, but it felt a little out of focus to me. And I feel like if it got more in focus, we're having a different conversation right now about the potential success of this film, and its most importantly, its rewatchability factor.
Hi.
I could sit through it again. Of course, it helps that it's 98 degrees out and the theater's frosty AC was worth the price of admission alone.
Recirculated air.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It has good pacing in that it didn't drag. Things kept moving, but pacing is more than just that, and I'll get to that later. I can't speak to the comics and the original source material. I am speaking to this as a movie, how it does and doesn't work. And I'll be brief, as you've no doubt heard a lot about this Superman already. Brief summary of the first act, then I'll give a spoiler warning. We get title cards orienting us to the world of the film, telling us about metahumans and how Superman is the strongest one. Then we enter the film in media res, Superman getting his butt kicked by the Hammer of Barovia.
Yeah, he didn't completely kick Superman's ass.
I like it. We can see that he takes damage and how he can heal. We see he's got robots. I had no idea. We see he's got a dog. At the Fortress of Solitude, he watches a message from his parents who tell him they love him and to help the people of Earth. But the message is incomplete, damaged in transit. We get a lot of backstory about how Superman stopped an invasion of hypothetical maybe is or isn't a stand-in for a real nation, and we learn later that it's Lex Luthor's special military projects that are responsible for beating Superman, and that Lex has an arms deal with the country invading hypothetical maybe is or isn't a stand-in for a real nation. We learn Superman and Lois Lane have been dating for a while, and things are getting serious. She even calls out how ridiculous it is that he thinks his glasses are an effective disguise. He allows her to interview him as Superman, giving us more backstory about the thwarted invasion storyline and why his parents sent him to Earth, to help the people there. Then Superman fights a kaiju, and this introduces us to the gang of heroes, Dutch Boy, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl. The monster is a distraction to lure Superman away from the Fortress of Solitude. There, Lex Luthor finds and steals Superman's parents' message. He uses this to turn public opinion and the government against Superman, presumably altering the message to say that Superman has actually been sent to Earth to take it over. rule it, and breed us out by having a super harem.
Grin, grin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
And just like that, everyone hates him. The government want him gone, and Lex Luthor is tasked with removing him from society. Superman turns himself in, wanting to clear his name, although he believes, like everyone else, that the message is legitimate. Way to turn on your parents. Luthor takes possession of Superman and traps him in an unstable pocket universe that could erupt into a black hole. Is that enough for you?
Have you had enough, Nazi? Or do you want some more?
What is that, 6 storylines? 6 steaks? I'd like them well done, but with that much beef, there's only so much room on the grill. Or running time in the film, so medium rare is the best we can hope for. You got the parents' message, hypothetical nation, love life, Lex's shenanigans, the hammer of Beantown, and a potential black hole enveloping the Earth. Now, I did like this movie. It was fun, much lighter in tone than Man of Steel, although not as resonant as the 1978 film, which was the first Superman movie I saw. I think I was 7, but subsequent viewings to me confirmed that it created more of a connection to the main character than this film did. And then there's the dog. I like Krypto. He's sorely in need of some training though, but it works. It helped create the feel of a world to be that of a comic universe and not an overly realistic one. And the movie looked really good, the production design, the effects, except there's a CGI baby that took me out of the movie a bit. I'm not even sure they needed it. It served a purpose, but I wonder if they could have used some other plot device to rein in the character in question. Here are the strikes. Strike 1. This film, with all the storylines, endless running around, and quipping, makes it feel more pop and less heartfelt. Strike 2. Forced emotion. Scenes where they were forcing the emotion, like with the dad, didn't feel authentic. The ingredients were there, but it didn't feel earned.
What, is there an echo in here?
Notice a theme here? They didn't work toward it. They wanted it, so they shoehorned it in there, but it felt forced. Strike 3.
I told you not to swing, you idiot!
And the hypothetical maybe it is or isn't a stand-in for a real nation storyline. Maybe this isn't the filmmaker's fault and was just bad timing. Who can predict when world events will happen? Only that they do. Was there time to rewrite the entire story so that it wouldn't appear as if this movie is a message, without the film being even more of a mess? I don't know. This storyline is pretty integral to a lot of the plotting. But regardless, watching the film, I couldn't help but be reminded of the horrors of what's going on in the Middle East right now. And it felt completely incongruous to the broad entertainment spectacle and appeal of a Superman movie. At the end, when they've taken care of the rift and things are wrapping up, there's a part of the scene at the end where Superman starts lecturing Lex Luthor on his real goals as a visitor to Earth and that he wants to do good, stating this for like the 4th time this picture. Why are you telling Lex Luthor this? Why are you pleading your case to this guy? This dude doesn't care. Supes doth protest too much. Maybe he is here for the harem. Harem? What harem? There is no harem. What's a harem? This movie's got a lot going on, and it is a bit of a mess, guilty mostly of trying to do too much, which thins out the drama regarding the main character. And racing from scene to scene, in and out of emotional moments, to get back to the action or drop a funny quip. Just can't wait to undermine the emotional resonance you were so close to building. All the while, Superman isn't really the one at the center of solving a lot of these problems. He's helping, but it's Lois, or Mr. T, or the DP bunch. So, at the end of the movie, it felt kind of empty. The connection I should have felt with the main character, I did not. But it's pretty good.
Wonderful.
I enjoyed it. I think Gunn erred a little too far on the side of getting away from dark and broody Man of Steel, and he tried to bite off just a little more than he could chew. For a fun, exciting summer blockbuster, it doesn't hurt to have good pacing, meaning let a scene breathe after a highly intense or action-packed one. Give us a chance to reflect on the good stuff we just witnessed. That'll help it linger and help us have greater enjoyment of the movie and a greater memory of it. But that's hard to do when you're serving 6 storylines. But I'll say this, you got the guy for the sequel movies. Cornsweat pulled it off. Now get him a good supporting cast, get him a good script, and get the DCEU back on its feet. The movie is enjoyable, albeit uneven. I don't think it saved the superhero genre, which they say is on life support, but Superman is keeping its condition stable. Thanks for clicking in.
I have to leave you now. No hard feelings. We all have our little faults. Mine's in California.